จ๋าแป๊บหนึ่งโปสเตอร์โอเคไหน hold on ยังแต่เดี๋ยวจะเป็นรอดู hello everybody hello hello อันนี้พูดฮัลโหล there you go มันไม่ได้ยินเลยในสตรีมไม่ได้ยินเลย my girlfriend said hello but well it didn't pick up on the stream. Yeah, hello everybody. Hold on, let me notify everybody on Discord. That. Okay, there you go. Yay, we're live. Yes, we are live. Okay. Oh, thank you for the $5. It's just started. Calm down. It's Riz. Thank you. I was dying of boredom at work. You just saved my life. Also, hi, Simon's girlfriend. เขาบอกหวัดดีเขาโดเนท$5แล้วบอกหวัดดีที่รัก Yeah. Well, you're welcome. We're gonna be continuing off of what we did last stream, pretty much. I haven't touched it since, though I have done some small sketches in my sketchbook, uh, which I might be referring to. But I didn't get much done, that's for sure. So we'll still have a lot of brainstorming to do. So furry commissions? No furry commissions. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Right. I got stuck on something though, with the sketches in my book. I realized we were talking about him having like two hearts, and like multiple sets of organs, right? Does your girlfriend still exist after I take the pills? Uh, yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I sorry, hold on, let me correct that. I don't know because I don't take any pills. So maybe I hope she's there right now. I don't know if I don't have any pills to take, so yeah, so the issue was I we were gonna have him have multiple sets of organs, hearts, lungs, all of that. I can't for the life of me figure out how that would realistically connect to an already existing circulatory system. Like, what vein connects to which? Obviously, we can just say it does and it works. Well, yeah, fine, right? You can just leave it at that and say it's magic. The right stuff is going on inside the body to make it work, and we don't have to go in depth into it. But it's just bothering me to think about it and not actually knowing if you can have basically two people connected via circulatory system and have it work somehow, like two hearts in one circulatory system. Have the heart have way more than just two ventricles? Well, because like it has to connect to some veins, and I was thinking that maybe they could branch off of the two main like big veins here in the back. I don't know how the fuck they'd get to those without him dying, but they do because magic. Why not just one big heart? Because two hearts are cooler than one, right? I guess okay. The thing we said last stream was Mauga, the character from Overwatch. He can have two hearts, and nobody bats an eye, right? Nobody questions that. They're just like, okay, yeah, he has two hearts, sure. So if it works for him, and they don't have to explain it, then maybe we don't have to either. But the issue is with that is that's a hero in a hero shooter where his anatomical accuracy doesn't really matter. But I'm literally making a poster that is supposed to be a anatomical diagram of how to modify a pillarman. The whole point of it is that it shows the anatomy. So us skimming over the anatomy isn't, you know, I if we knew how it actually worked, that'd be nicer than not knowing, right? It'd be nicer. It'd be nicer than not knowing. แรงไปหรือเปล่าเขาไม่นึกว่ามันจะสะเทือนขนาดนั้นกูพยายามเบาแล้วนะโทษ um so if magic makes a person taller, does magic affect the dog? Does it shrink like they're using steroids? I don't know. What if one heart cycles deoxygenated blood while the other cycles oxygenated blood, making it more efficient at handling high volumes of blood? Unrelated, but a mass geo CEO of a shit billion dollars health insurance corporation over here in the US was just assassinated in a major city in public and no one cares. What? Who? I mean, well, maybe I have no idea who that is. I mean, I'm not in America, so I don't get like that sort of news, obviously. But he's back. The billionaire's back. He's back to from the dead, or you mean me? No, sometimes the stream just does that for some reason. I'm not gone anywhere. It just disconnects. Okay. Hello, I'm a medical professional. Also, I just joined to, so might have missed a bit, but multiple hearts works. It's just that they have to sync. I would believe otherwise the uh systole diastole would be wacky. Okay, fair. So, what what would be the best way to connect a separate like a secondary heart to the body? Not we're not putting it inside the guy. We're putting it outside the guy, connected to some tubes that is connected to the guy. So it's completely separate from him with its own set of lungs as well. That's where it complicates things a little, I think. Is because it's not just that there's an extra heart. There's an extra set of lungs with that heart as well, right? I think that's where the issue comes in. So I don't know what vein would go where in that scenario, or where would be a good vein to tap for that, because I'm making it so it's connected at the tummy. The only reason being I like the visual of umbilical cords. Like anything that sort of symbolizes umbilical cords creeps me out, or is like a weird creepy thing, and I like that, right? So that's why I put it on the tummy. That's it. Just a thought, but uh, what if you created a unique organ that the body naturally develops as a result of forced mutation or accelerated evolution to naturally filter or circulate mana within the body? Oh, I mean, mana already naturally spreads throughout the blood. It mana likes to be within liquids or other materials, so it naturally spreads throughout them. Uh, so you don't really need anything to like cycle the mana to distribute it on around the body or anything. That goes on by itself already. But like the Tara is an organ that grows after because of metamorphosis. Outside of that, I haven't considered if there's any other organs that get grown because of magic. calibration bag on hip. Well, we want it to be a separate bag that's like on his back, like he has it strapped to his back with some pipes coming out of his tum, into that bag, or sort of figure. Right. Okay. Let me start drawing. Where's my pen? There it is. You need to graft it, but be careful of infection. Well, there's the fun part. Magic and mana being within a system makes it a lot less prone to infection. Like it doesn't really get infected and stuff. It sort of prevents all of the kind of rejection of things happening. I mean, still infection if you fuck up real bad can happen, but mana definitely helps prevent it. So he got an organ backpack, basically. Yes, yes, he does. He does have an organ backpack, basically. Okay, so let's just start like sketching him out roughly, because I wanna figure out his proportions. I think I always am more comfortable drawing like very small first, because if I draw big, I focus too much on like details, and it makes it so like the figure doesn't flow well. If it's small, I focus more on like just uh shapes. I think having one arm stretched out to the side will actually help, because then we can show like the muscle stuff better. I do want him to have some quite over the top proportions, so that's what we're going with. Long ass legs, like holy shit, like something like that, like going way over the top. So compared to a person would be like this tall, maybe, because he's on his tippy toes too. That's the thing. I want an organ backpack. I mean, you can get one. Nothing's stopping you, except for procuring the organs and the backpack, I guess, and then just combining the two like a point and click adventure game. But then you have it. Do objects like Totem of Undying from Minecraft exist? Magical objects do exist, but they don't really. They're not the same as like magical objects in other fantasy worlds where it's like you can imbue an object with magic and then it just does that thing on its own or something. It's more like objects can have ifs on them or ifs written in them or in some sort of contraption scroll somehow, and then they need to be fueled by magic. So you need some sort of source to fuel them, and then they will do a certain thing. And those are quite limited to what the human understanding of magic is. So it's sort of limited to doing things that we already know are possible. So there's no objects like the Totem of Undying, for example, where it's like, if you die with this and you use this artifact on them, they resurrect because humans haven't figured out how to resurrect somebody yet. So it's impossible for them to create something that could resurrect somebody. Yeah. Joe Garcia, thank you for the 5 pen. Appreciate it. Hi, I love your work. What do you think helped your create a community of followers around the conceptual art of your work? Luck. Luck. A lot of luck. I mean, I don't think I did anything different from anybody else who's trying to do what I'm doing. Uh, I didn't do anything special. That's for sure. I mean I do streams, I guess, but that's normal, you know. I don't think I do anything special. I just got lucky. I got really, really lucky. I made some videos. They got popular, and then I got a bunch of viewers, and they liked my stuff, so in turn they, they're interested, obviously. So it became a community. I don't know. I guess having a Discord server is good, to help people discuss and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I can't give you a better answer than that. Because the thing is, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm winging it all the way. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, shoulder, it's got to be higher. Yeah, do you think this guy's too tall? We wanted like monkey arms, right? And I think this is monkey arm enough. I'd say that they're long enough, right? The issue is like his arms are really long, but by nature like or how metamorphosis works is like their torsos lengthen already or anyway, so it doesn't look like they're that long, but compared to like a normal person, they are very long. Okay, so something like that. Hold on, I gotta zoom out. I don't want to get too close. Okay. So, okay, do we want him I think I want to go with the same thing that I did here, where he's like standing on the ground. This in this case, it doesn't really make sense because this is supposed to be an autopsy, so him standing up doesn't quite make sense. It's sort of just an illustrative choice. But with this, I guess it makes more sense because this is supposed to be like a representation of a Pillarman's modifications. So it's fine if he's standing, because him like laying down on like a cutting table or something. I feel like him standing, sort of like a an anatomical study, makes it interesting. So I want him like he's leaning on this leg, and this leg's a little more out. So it looks a little more natural as a pose. And the legs probably won't be that big because with climbing and stuff, leg muscles aren't really a crazy important thing. Especially because like when you're hauling yourself up a giant pillar, you'd preferably don't want crazy amounts of muscle mass. Having strong arms is really good, but having strong legs isn't as important. Are you drawing on an iPad? No, no, I'm drawing on a drawing tablet. It's a screenless drawing tablet. It's the same one I always used. It's called an Oog. Oog. I think it's called Oog M708. This one's called Oog, like UGEE. But don't like. Please don't take my the things that I use as a recommendation for what you should use, if that's what you're asking, because uh, uh, I'm incredibly stubborn. Like the reason I use this tablet is not because I researched a bunch of tablets and this happened to be the best one. It's just that this happened to be the first one I got gifted by a family member, and so I just stuck with it. It's a good tablet. Okay, well then go by its Riz's word, because they say it's a good tablet. Because the only reason I'm using this is because it's the first tablet I ever got. If I got any other tablet as the first tablet, it's quite likely that I would have just bought that tablet over and over again, and that's what I'm doing with this one. I just keep buying the same tablet over and over again. This is the well, not over and over. This is the first or the second uh time. What do I? I've replaced it once. The first one I ever had broke, and then I replaced it with an exact copy. So this is the second one I have. And when this one breaks, I'll just buy the same one again. Because the thing is, I don't have any issues with this tablet. There's nothing that I need more out of a drawing tablet. When I put the pen on the tablet, it draws. And then there's buttons on the side that I can press for shortcut keys. That's it. I don't have any urge to be like, oh, but I wish it was bigger or had a bigger drawing surface or it had a screen. None of that. I don't feel any of that. I did a sponsorship for like the XP Pen tablet, right? And that's like a really expensive big screen tablet, right? I don't care. Like I did it for the sponsorship, but I said in the sponsorship, like, look, do your own research, because to me, I immediately went back to my own tablet after reviewing that tablet, because I got it for the sake of reviewing it, and I gave it my honest opinion. It's big as shit, and it has a really good, like, pretty, like, big screen. And if you want that, then great. And that's it. But I don't want that, because the the thing is, that tablet like exceeds any of my other equipment. It's bigger than my fucking desk, or my desk isn't built for that shit. It blocks half my screen because my screen's not that high up. So it's just not, it doesn't fit into my setup, right? And it's just too big and cumbersome. I like the small one more with no screen because I thought like at first before getting it to review, I was worried like, "Oh, what if it's like I get the tablet and then I realize, "Oh shit, this is so much better than the tablet I already use." Like I didn't know I wanted a screen tablet, but now I know I love screen tablets because I never used a screen tablet before that one. But the thing that but what actually happened was I got the screen tablet. I put it I turned it on and I started drawing with it. And instantly as I put my hand on the screen, I thought to myself, what the fuck is this fat like sausage blocking half my screen? Of course it's my arm, but I didn't register that when thinking about like screen drawing tablets and being like, "Oh, but it's so much more convenient because you actually see the screen that you're drawing on, like your hand is on the screen." So it's a more natural connection, right? So it would be more natural to draw on it. But because I was so used to drawing on a tablet without a screen and staring up at a screen that doesn't have anything blocking it, as soon as I put my hand on the screen, my fat fucking hand blocked half the screen, and I didn't like it. It was annoying because it's like, why the fuck? Like, this is worse because I want to see my whole screen. I'm used to seeing my whole screen and not having anything block it. Now my fat hand has to be in the way, But obviously, I didn't use that as a criticism for the tablet because that'd be stupid. Because that's not a criticism of the tablet. That's not the tablet's fault. That's just my fault for not being used to using screen tablets. So of course I didn't say that in the video. But that's just why after the review was done, I immediately like packed it back up and gave it to my girlfriend because I literally took the I was gonna not take the sponsorship at first, but then my girlfriend mentioned she wanted like a screen tablet. So I was like, I scrolled back down my Gmail list of like ignoring that email for like 2 months and clicked on it. And I was like, oh, fine, I'll take the sponsorship because I want to give the tablet to her. So I just gave it to her. Uh, so I don't even use it. But yeah. Can I have the one you were given for the sponsor? Well, sorry, I read that after. No, sorry, it's in my girlfriend's possession. ไม่เขาคุยถึงไอ้แท็บเล็ต XP Pen ว่ากูเอาจริงๆกูรับสปอนเซอร์ก็แค่เพราะว่ากูอยากเอาแท็บเล็ตให้มึงอ่ะกูก็เลยรับเพราะว่าที่จริงกูก็จะไม่รับอยู่แล้วนะ Okay, is that good? I think that's good. He's leaning a little much though. Hold on, leaning a little much. Probably better like that. I mean, I like him doing like a. It's just his upper body, I think, that I need to like adjust. Yeah, I mean, he does have some ape arms. They're reaching his knees, so I think that's good. Okay, something like that. Is your magic system inspired by something? I mean, I didn't intend for it to be inspired by something at first. Like I didn't take anything as inspiration. The goal of it was to make a magic. Like I started it by thinking I want a magic system that. Oh, actually, then yeah, it was inspired by something. I wanted it to be an excuse to have magic users look different from normal people. That was it. That was the seed that started it. Was like I want made magic users to look physically different from normal people. If you stripped off all their clothing and just looked at their proportions or like their physicality, you can tell who's a magic user and who's not, right? And the catalyst for why they look this way, like why they're tall and like have the big rib cages and stuff, was because of castrates. Castrates are the like were people that actually existed in the past. They were performers. They were singers that had their balls cut off as children, so they never went through puberty. So when they grew up, their bones never hardened. So a lot of weird things happen when you don't go through puberty because you get your balls cut off as a kid and you just grow up without ever going through puberty. First of all, your voice doesn't drop. Second of all, your balls can't drop because they're not there anymore. But then also your bones don't really harden as much as they should. Like your rib cages don't properly like fuse together, which means they keep expanding out. So castratis had big ass rib cages, which means they had a fuck ton of lung capacity, which meant they could sing like they could drag notes out for unhumanly long, and the notes were clear. No, like there wasn't any grain to it or anything. They would sing beautifully like a young boy because, well, they didn't go through puberty, you know. But I took inspiration from that because pictures, if you look up pictures of castratis, the way they're illustrated, they look pretty much the same as how I illustrate the mages. I exaggerated, of course, but like they're tall. They're like really fucking tall. They have big ass like rib cages and shit and like gangly limbs and little heads, you know? So that's what I took inspiration from for the look of the mages. That's not really taking inspiration for the magic system, but it's a part of the magic system. So, yeah. Thank you, CB21, for the $5. Appreciate it. I just realized you have a mouthpiece. I thought they were teeth. What is it for? Getting my money's worth now. Riz, skibbity gyaps whiz. Okay, thank you very much. Uh, the mouthpiece is supposed to be a gas mask filter, though it doesn't quite look like one. I definitely feel like I could do a better job at making it look like a gas mask filter, but it is supposed to be a gas mask filter. I don't know why there's like a valve on the side of the gas mask filter that looks like a hole that you would use to fill up an inflatable pool toy. Like I don't know why there's a cap like that next to the gas mask one. Oh, wait, no. I remember. Fuck. The reason there's a cap like that next to it is because if he wants to like drink something or eat something, he can stuff it through that tiny little hole without taking off the gas mask. So I was imagining him like you popping open that little cap and putting a straw through it when drinking something. Yeah, that's why I put it there. Fuck. Yeah. Obviously, it's not convenient, but if he's like in public and he can't like take off the mask, and then you ask like, oh, but why does he not take off the mask in public? Why can't he? Cause he's edgy like that. That's what he does. He's edgy. He's cool and edgy, and nobody understands him. Okay, and then we have the crushed hoof feet. That's fun. I don't know why I keep illustrating the pillarmen with like a giant fucking thigh gap. Like, why hooves? Oh, because hooves are good for climbing steep cliffs, like mountain goats. So they modified the pillarmen's feet to be hooves. That's we did that in the last stream. In the last stream, we were like brainstorming about what to add to the pillarmen. Like we got off tangent and we developed it further so that the pillarmen have hooves instead of feet, which is cool. I'd say. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. There, and then we have the like apparatus here. that pulls the muscle out of like that. Long legs, head small. Hoof fingers? No, no, the fingers are normal, though he does have an additional thumb on the other side of his hand as well, or on next to his pinky. Okay, what else? Hold on. I drew it on my sketchbook. Right. I was still gonna show the tar eye, so I wanted to cut open his chest just to show it. Although I think that might be confusing maybe if I show the tar eye, just because um this is like a diagram all about what they add to a person's body, so it might make you misunderstand that a tar eye is added to somebody's body even though they grow naturally. Although you can do a tar eye transplant, like adding one in to like jumpstart the growth of a tar eye, like skipping a bunch of the waiting. So yeah, I guess yeah, you can do tar eye transplants. But yeah, then we do the cables that go out from there, and then we do the jar that he has on his back. And I was also thinking the jars breathe because that's gonna be creepy. Because I was thinking they have a pair of lungs, so it would make sense if they breathe independent from the guy. And then we do like a cutaway of the jar, showing what's inside as well, showing the ribs and like the extra organs. And the mouth hole. Probably like some shit coming out of the mouth hole. Not shit, literal shit, just like sort of like a rust stain, like it's drooling or some sort of like liquidy coming out. If no balls, how piss? If pee is stored in the balls, where piss go? Good point. Good point. I mean, he does have balls, and he does have a wee wee as well. I just don't draw them because, well, I wouldn't be on this platform, sadly, if I did. Are they free climbing the tower? How do they sleep when climbing? No, they're not free climbing. They are using like uh pin the those like climbing pins. I don't know. I forgot what they're called. But yeah, they're doing it with rope and everything. It's not they're not like just free climbing, free soloing the fucking pillar. Okay, I'm gonna do a zoomed in image of this showing. And then also how the muscle gets like laced back into the bone. like the anchors. I'll have to find a way to illustrate that somehow. I have a reference of it, I think, that we pulled up last time. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, this. He's locked in. Yeah, sorry, I'm not reading the chat much. I'm just enjoying drawing. Um, what's the theme of the book? Well, I was trying to make the book, or what the goal is with the book is I want it to be, like like the perspective of a traveling sketchbook from the world, like the Rust and Trenches, from Rust and Trenches. So, it's an art book. Like mainly, the main goal is an art book. Then I also want it to be standalone. Like if I want it so you don't have to like watch all my videos to make the book understandable. Like I need there to be enough of a basis of information in the book where you can just have the book and sort of get a gist of the world and like be interested in it, right? If that makes sense. Yeah, but I want it to be in the style of like a traveler's sketchbook with like drawings and notes from different people and stuff all in the book. Though it's really hard to do that. I haven't started at all, honestly. And still am like procrastinating and avoiding it because it is a very hard thing to tackle. Okay, what else? Then we need, okay, anchor, then the growing, then also like the leg lengthening stuff. You know that thing that sort of became that thing that people actually do that are insecure about their height, and they get a surgery where they cripple themselves by lengthening their femurs, or not femurs, whatever fucking this bone is, without considering that those proportional differences from how they were born would cause issues. And then after that, they are like 5 centimeters taller. Let's go. But they walk with a crutch now and waddle instead of walking normally and look really weird when sitting down. Those people, they do that too. Because lengthening limbs means more limb area, which means more place for muscles. That's the femur. It is? Oh, I got correct then. Yay. Hold on. Leg lengthening surgery. Yeah, I feel bad for those people. I saw like a bunch of videos for a while for some reason. Like, I think Twitter kept recommending them to me for some reason. It was just people who are going through leg lengthening surgeries. I mean, obviously, there's people that need to do those. Like, it's a necessity. They have some sort of disformity that's causing them to have to do that. Like, their legs aren't the same length or they're sort of crooked or whatever, and they do that. But then people are doing it cosmetically just to be taller, and it's weird. They just look weird after that. Waddle away. Yeah, it's shit. Like for some reason, it just obviously it makes them look really weird. Like I don't know how they don't understand. I guess insecurity is a bitch, but like if you get taller, yeah, like you get 5 centimeters or 6 or maybe even 10. I don't know if it like reaches 10 or what's the limit. Like holy shit, you're so much taller than before, 5 centimeters. But it looks so fucking weird because it's just one part of your body. You're not getting tall altogether. It's your one part of your leg. And now even your legs look weird because the top part of your leg or the bottom part, I don't know, is it the top? Like the top part of your leg is like twice as long as the bottom one. What if I wanted to look weird? Well, more power to you. I apologize then. If that's the goal, then great. Bro, some people even change their eye color. What? You can do that? Like permanently, not just contacts, like permanently. I didn't know that. I know about you can like tattoo your eyeballs, yeah. Like that's something you can do where you just get like the white part of your eye just all black. You can do that. I know about that. But like the inner circle of your eye, I don't know if you can change that. Yeah, your legs may be taller, but the arms rest in yeah, everything else isn't. High chance of oh yeah, I do know that like that process can cause like loss of sight or like worse seeing or whatever. But it's a risk that they're willing to take, so I mean, can't judge them. If they want to do it, then go ahead. I fuck with eye tattoos and eye color change. It's just cool. Yeah, I mean, I compared to like the leg lengthening, I don't mind the eye thing. I mean, they know the risk, they're doing it, and I think yeah, it does look cool. At least it doesn't make you waddle. Like that's something. I'd say it's probably less risky than the leg surgery thing. I the reason I'm searching it up though because I want to figure out how they actually do that. Like what they do to get the legs to lengthen. Cuz I'm curious about like the bone growth cuz obviously there's a bit of bone missing. And I know they like gradually lengthen it over time, like they slowly increase the length. But is it is it like they cut the bone in one part and use the metal brackets to stabilize it, and then they separate it just enough for the bone to grow back in that area. But if you twist it again, does that mean it breaks again? Like it separates again in that part, and then it tries to fix itself again, and then you break it again, and then it fixes itself again, and you break it, and you just keep doing that until it like is the length you want, or uh is there an internal structure they put there to encourage the growth? Basically, yeah. Hmm. The break the femur and make essentially a ceramic scaffolding between the bone and the bone grow to fill in the scaffolding. Oh, so they put something in there that the bone grows on. That is interesting. We can do something like that where they like lengthen the limb and then they sort of insert a do you think so with Pillarman, I think the order of how they modify Pillarman is that they train normally first, then they study to become a physical mage, right? And then they reap the benefits of the physical mage like metamorphosis first because the metamorphosis of any mage, especially physical mages, is that you just grow taller in general, right? So they let that do its course, like take its course, and then after it seems like the heightening slows down, then they on top of that stretch the limbs like make the legs and arms longer. Can you wait with the limb lengthening surgery? Surely you can do that with arms too, right? That just be the same thing. So you can definitely do it with arms too. Yeah. So then they do the lengthening, which is neat. So dwarves will just become a human. What? Were Pillarmen inspired by Space Marine? No, no, none. nothing in the world was really inspired by Space Marines. I wasn't thinking about Space Marines while like I just like the concept of modified humans, like magically enhanced humans. But the thing is, because Space Marines are the most popular version of that, that's just what it's natural to assume that that's what I took inspiration from. Although it is a very common thing in every medium, outside of Space Marines, there's a fuck ton of universes or world building projects that just have modified humans. I didn't take inspiration from anyone in particular. It's just a good concept. Why would I not use it? All this talk of limb surgery is definitely making my soul die. Oh, okay. I was worried that you were gonna say all this talk of limb surgery is making me kind of hungry, but you're actually a normal person, so you said it's making my soul die a little bit. Fair enough. I mean it's done now. We're done talking about that. You could also look at gigantism. I'm sure there's medical documents on it. Yeah. Can plants or fungi use magic? Yes. My hungry could not be a surgeon. Yeah, exactly. That's what I expected him to say. Can I use magic? If you believe hard enough, then you can definitely use magic. Yeah, what else am I missing? I'm not missing anything, am I? It's that, right? And then leg lengthening and the arm stuff. Yeah. I mean, the good thing is if there's less things to show, like less proceed, it's not that complicated. It's there's the increased muscle, limb lengthening, and additional organs. That's it. Which is nice because then we can go into like a lot of detail on each of them instead of like having a bunch of like disorienting things like all in one page. It's three major categories of things that's being done to the pillarman. So we can show like the anchors, and we can show like details on how the anchors work with like I want the page to also be filled with like smaller like sort of frantic sketches to make it look more natural. Like it's not just oh clean boxes, everything's perfect. There's like rougher ones next to the actual ones in the boxes, like showing breakdowns or something of the different components. Or oh, another part I guess that would be nice to cover is showing the sort of square structure that's left behind or that's like on the skin around the anchor points. I was thinking that it would be a side effect of using uh, physical magic. It's used to strengthen the body, right? So strengthen and like enhance physical strength. So I wanted it to look like it causes veins to grow in like a square pattern along the body, the same way as with like the red roots in the trenches. The reason they look the same with like the square like patterns is because I want there to be a visual like cohesiveness, right? So when things that are magic are supposed to represent something being strong and sturdy, they have a square pattern in them. So the thing that's used to reinforce the trenches grows in squares, and the magic that reinforces the body also has squares on it. So it sort of helps like tie them together, right? Visually. I think that's a good idea. And so we can do that as well, where we show the squares close up and give like a little explanation of like meh, 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 meh. This is why there's squares on the body. Glowing mushroom like plants for plant based magic. Crystal formations on bodies for electric magic. Eh? Are you talking about a different system, like, or giving me suggestions? Can you make the Pillarman's chalk container an Alms box? Let me search that up. I don't know what that is. Alms box. The hell is that? An alms box is a closed container for collecting donations or alms for the poor or for religious work. Oh, oh, that's interesting. Do I mean, I don't think alms boxes have a cohesive visual uh like they're boxes. I feel like having it in bags does make more sense because I like bags. Having it be like an ornate bag would be nice. Alm. I don't know how to say that word. What do you alms? ALMS. Alm. Vegan magic. What? Vegan magic. What things could someone do in your world to become something akin to a lich? Uh, depends on what you define by lich. If it's just someone who is living for a very long time, there's easy things to do. There's a lot of things you can do. If you mean lich only being somebody who has died and then been resurrected and became a lich, then nothing, because if like resurrection has not been figured out in the world. But if we're saying like just lengthening your own life into being like way too fucking old and sort of looking like a living corpse, you can first of all just being a mage gives you a lot of extra life, like extends your life quite a lot. I mean, to an extent where I don't think there is a mage who has died of old age. It's always been other things that take them out. No mage has died of old age, right? So it's unknown how long you can actually live off of being just a mage and using magic. Having mana in your body is also something that lengthens your life. It's sort of having mana keeps things running the way they're supposed to, right? It might give you like metamorphosis over time, yes, but also just keeps things functioning. Like a lot of mages are at the point where if they stop having mana in their bodies, they would probably die quite soon after because their bodies are basically just functioning off of the mana that's keeping them stable. Um, then you can also start replacing parts of you that are dying and functioning worse with parts of other people that are better or working better. Like if your heart is failing you, like if that's the first thing that's going, you can replace your heart, or you can add an additional heart onto your own. That's something that you can do. If your leg gets blown off, you can replace that leg. So over time, you can basically become like that ship analogy where you keep replacing a piece of the ship over time, and in the end, are you still the same ship, or is the pieces put together, or whatever? That analogy doesn't work. Never mind. But yeah, you can like replace everything pretty much, except for your brain and head. I don't know how you do that. But yeah, so you can definitely live for a long time. And if you're like using other people's body parts, I'd say you could probably be considered a lich at that point. You're using other people's bits. Is necromancy a thing? No, or not yet. They haven't figured it out yet. Which also means I haven't figured it out yet. That's like the magic system. Oh, the magic in the world is twofold, or has two things going for it. So we are looking at the magic system in the world from the perspective of humans, right? So humans can use magic to the extent that they understand it, which means for the humans, like from the humans' perspective, it is a hard magic system, right? If you don't understand something, you can't use it or can't do it with magic. But outside of humans using magic, a lot of other things that humans don't understand, like other creatures that use magic, use it in ways that we don't understand and we can't even grasp. How they use it in those ways, we don't know. Obviously, saying it from a writer's or like my perspective outside of the universe, I can tell you different creatures evolve with magic, right? And they have had like millions of years to obviously evolve to use their specific type of magic. So it's natural for them to use it that way, and it makes sense to them. That's why they can use it in that way, and it doesn't just make sense to us because we didn't fucking do it that way, you know? Like humans are trying to catch up with magic compared to everything else that's using magic around them. It's not we're pioneers in some ways with magic, but in some other ways there are other creatures that do it way better than us, way more efficient than us, or do things that we don't understand at all. And we have to try and catch up and try and figure out what the fuck they're actually doing. You know, witches is one of those, or like curses is one of those things in magic that humans are still desperately trying to understand how curses work. How do they spread? How do they cause the effects that they do on a body? People don't understand that yet, and they're still studying it to try and obviously, like, because the war is happening, the goal with understanding curses more is not just to understand them more, but also in the hopes that it might be able to be used in the war as well, obviously. What happens if you eat a mage? Your tummy gets full, and you say, yum, and then you move on with your day. That's what happens. Curses, STDs. You cracked the code. Congratulations. Holy shit. I didn't think anybody would get it this quickly. Yes, you're correct. Curses are actually just STDs. Magically contracted STDs. We told you to cast spells with protection. Would you say that the way magic is used is a form of logic? I don't quite understand that question. Uh, it's more of a science for humans, I guess. Like we're trying to understand the what makes what happen, right? So we're unmagicking it. We're making it a science. We're turning magic into a science, making it boring, pretty much, which is what I think humans would naturally do if magic actually existed. I mean, that's 100. That's what we do with everything, right? That's what we've always done. We try to break it down, understand it, and make it perceivable, right? So that's what we'd do with magic as well. If magic existed in the world, we'd go, okay, let me try and understand this thing and then use it to my advantage. Logic is the way a computer operates. No, the thing with magic with I wouldn't say logic then. It's still very feel based, like feeling based with casting spells and stuff. So it's not all like, oh, if you do this hand sign and say these words, it automatically casts the spell. Like a lot of it's still like just like touchy and not like fully set in stone. Intent is a thing as well. Yeah, like I've explained it as like when you want to cast a spell, you have to have intent to cast that spell, like thoroughly understand. If you cast a fire spell, you have to feel the flame. You have to have studied fire and flame and what it does and the feeling of it, the idea of it. You have to just basically visualize it so clearly that it becomes real, right? And like there's a limit to how far I can explain how people in the world utilize magic because obviously it's magic. I can't go any further with it because it doesn't make sense. It's magic, right? But I'm limited to just explaining like its intent. Like you have to feel it and believe it and do it. But I can't go deeper into it because I can't. If I were to have, if I'm able to go deeper into it, I'd probably be able to cast spells in real life at this point, you know. But I haven't figured that out yet, so I don't know. Yeah. Like I wait, did I do that in a magic casting video? I don't know if I put this in a video, but uh yeah, I think I did. Where there's the stranger is trying to understand how casting spells actually works, right? He's trying to find the logic in it. And so he interviews or asks that question to like a bunch of mages to ask them like, "Hey, what does, for example, like how do you take in mana? How do you take in mana into your body? If you have an input, like you got the implant to get the input and you have it sitting next to you connected to your body, what do you do physically to take in mana? You know, and the way that the mages explain it to him is sort of like they're taking the piss. Like it's an annoying answer to somebody who wants a straight answer. Like one of them says it's like breathing with the soul. You know, it's like instead of breathing with your lungs, you breathe with the soul. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? It doesn't make sense. And all the other ones give same sort of answers. It's like, it's like opening the window and letting in a breeze of fresh air. You know, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like all of them are like on a different plane of existence. Basically, meditation, some sort of bullshit, whatever. Like it's different for everybody. Some shut the fuck type, some ISIFU type. And I don't know that abbreviation, but yeah, just like annoying answers, and I feel like that's also like with I. I need to slow down first. I'm using a lot of like ums and ahs, probably quite annoying. Okay. Um, when it comes to studying magic in like the academies, I don't really know how they do it. Like, what is the curriculum of somebody who's learning magic? How do you start learning magic? Because it's such a vague subject, I don't even know what they would do in a magic academy. I feel like a bunch of it with like having the input implanted and stuff would be based around meditation and trying to get a feel for what you're actually looking for. Like you have to try and find what the hell it actually is you're looking for first. Yeah, probably monk shit. Like some monk stuff, sitting around meditating around fires, meditating around the earth, and breaking stones and meditating around like if you have to do something, so it depends on the field of magic that you're trying to go into as well. When it comes to acceleration magic, you're probably trying to understand the flow of things. You're probably next to running water a lot and things moving, things falling, like you're trying to understand the essence of movement. Then with combustion mages, you're around fire a lot and trying to understand that. Explosions and you're just blowing shit up and looking at it, I guess. Like that's how you study in the academy. There's a part of the academy that's just covered in ash and like gunpowder because the students just keep blowing shit up to try and understand the essence of explosions, you know. And that's the excuse they give the dean when, you know, he finds that his office has been blown to smithereens. It's like, I mean, we were trying to, you know, enlighten ourselves. Did you watch Arcane? Yeah, yeah, I did watch Arcane. I liked it a lot, actually. I binge watched season one and two in 2 days. Season one in one day, and then season two in the next day. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't look like, the thing is I'm not good at like critically analyzing media. You know, like some people probably immediately see flaws in it, you know? Like they'll be like, "Oh, the story structure is too fast," or this character wasn't utilized properly and stuff like that. Like they look at it deeper, but I don't really. Like I just look at shit and I enjoy it, and that's about it. You know? So to conclude, I liked it. That's it. Do I have anything I dislike about it? No, because I didn't look at it that much. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, I liked the visuals. Some like the writing between characters. I liked it a lot because like Silco, I loved like a lot of the first scenes with Silco and how they like established his character really quickly with like him just he says things really efficiently or just the way he moves and shit like that was very captivating for me as an artist just being like god they really wrote that well like every time he said something I was like fuck that's a good set like who the fuck thought of that like that's such a good way to give him a bunch of characters without with by letting him say just a little bit of things or the way he moves his hands or like fidgets with the fucking like the eye pokey thing that he has, you know, and he's like squeamish about it but yeah it's just all those little things I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, but then I see like I look at like after watching it I looked at videos on YouTube and them like having critiques about it and stuff and I'm you know, like I don't think about them until I watch videos that critique it. And then I'm like, oh, that's something that's bad, I guess. I didn't really notice that at all when watching it because I just enjoyed the show. But I guess that's something like they were like a common critique I saw people had about season two was that there's a bunch of side characters that don't really get utilized properly or maybe don't get fleshed out enough. And I didn't notice it at all when watching. But then when I watched the critique, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Good point. Yeah, they didn't utilize those characters enough. But then I stopped watching the critiques because it just makes me like the thing that I just liked less. So what's the point? Why would I want to enjoy something I just enjoyed less? That doesn't make sense. So I just don't watch them. I, that does show don't tell. Yeah, that's something I heard as a critique as well, where it's like in season two, a lot of things happen that we don't get shown. Like things move ahead quite a lot without us seeing it, right? Like the and I didn't really again didn't notice it. I don't care. I just enjoyed it. That's it. But yeah, I like it. That's it. Just repeating the points I already said. Sorry about that. But yeah, what were we talking about before that? Right, magic, studying magic in the academy and how the fuck that actually works. But yeah. I feel like healing mages might actually be the most metal of all of them. Well, maybe studying explosions is probably cool as well, but uh well not metal. Yeah, healing mages and physical mages would just be doing like they'd just be in the gym cuz the whole point of using physical magic is to enhance your own muscles and your own strength and your own body. So it would be really important to have full control over your body, which means exercising, cardio, shit like that. So just being able to control every single bit and piece of your muscles, like flexing them individually and stuff like that. So they'd just be buff as shit, basically. They're just, yeah, they're magic jocks. They're the magic jocks where it's like, hey, look, I can flex the upper half of my left pec, like specifically. But yeah. And then physical mages or healing mages would also just need to be basically doctors. Like they would just do autopsies and stuff like that, try and understand the body and also the way that things heal and uh fix themselves. I don't even know how you go about that. You cut somebody and then just watch their wounds close up again over a period of a week, I guess. I don't know. Do they play sports? In Magic Academy, do they play sports? I don't know. They probably have fucking they have Quidditch. Just Quidditch. I just rip off Quidditch entirely. No, no, nothing. Dumbledore just randomly in the fucking in the audience for some reason. Like I copy and pasted it and accidentally forgot to remove like the thing in the background that gives it away. It's like, oh fuck, Dumbledore's sitting there. Wait, what? Dumbledore? Oh no, I didn't mean him to be there. To do actual doctor stuff or just heal a lot. Well, the thing with healing in the world is you're not like you have to actually know the doctor stuff to be able to heal somebody. Like you don't just look at somebody, do like a hand gesture from like 5 feet away and just cast healing right or something and they just heal themselves. No, you like if they have a broken leg, you have to go in, cut their fucking leg open, and then heal every individual part that's broken. So you're just a doctor with a magic ability to heal individual components. But it's not even just you're not like healing them as much as you are speeding up their own speed of healing themselves. So you're just encouraging their body to heal that part quicker, which means they are burning a bunch of like nutrients and shit to like heal themselves really quickly. Which means like normally when healing magic gets performed, you have to have like uh nutrients get put into the body of the person getting healed because they could die from exhaustion while you're healing them. If it's like too big of a wound or something, they can die from exhaustion just because their body is basically like speed healing themselves into death. Could a healing mage age you to death? I'd say yeah. You I think yeah, you could. I mean, you don't really have to. Like the easiest way a healing mage could kill somebody would just be to close up their airways or something. Like you can overheal somebody. You can give somebody instant cancer. Like healing mages are very delicate because magic is really strong. Healing magic is really strong. So when you heal somebody, you have to do it slowly and gently and methodically. Because if you just do it all at once, like very aggressively, you just give them tumors, like instant tumors. So what you can do is you can use that offensively. So you can go up to somebody and just instantly cast a tumor into their fucking throat and just cause them to asphyxiate and die. You can do that. Or just cast cancer on somebody. Like you can just touch them on their like on their side, like of the on the side of their abdomen or something, and just give them a big old lump of cancer, and then just leave and don't elaborate. You know, healing mage walks up to me, gives me cancer, and walks away. No, that's it. Oh, thank you for the $5. The idea junkie, appreciate it. I love all of the world building you have been doing. I have been curious, how long have you been doing art for, and if it is a hobby for you or your job? Holy shit! I read that like a fifth grader. that's, that's my level of reading comprehension, I guess, at this point. That I read that terribly. Hold on, let me clear my nose. I'll answer that question. Okay. How long have you been doing art for, and is it a hobby or a job? I think I've been drawing for. Hold on. I gotta count because it's it's a very clear time that it started. I think so. Okay, wait, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, and now I'm 9 years. I've been drawing for 9 years. There you go. I think it's 9 years. Uh, which like I can definitely be better at art. Like I didn't do it efficiently, that's for sure. I enjoyed it all the way through. I wasn't like slaving away trying to do studies and stuff. That's why, like, if you think about it, or if I look back at it, I could have definitely have gotten further with my drawing abilities if I spent more time studying art and stuff. Um, but if you would ask me, would I go back in time in 9 years? Like, would I go back 9 years to do my art journey again and do it more efficiently? Would I do it? I'd say no, because I think a lot of my the most important part of that journey was definitely me just enjoying drawing and having fun with it, right? So that was an important part. So even if I uh, could have done it more efficiently, I wouldn't have wanted to because I just like it. I like drawing. You know, if it takes me longer to get better at it, who cares? Uh, yeah, because I enjoyed it, right? I talk to a lot of artists, and sometimes in like Discord, they tell me like, oh, I've been like studying for a few months straight, and it's miserable. Like they study art, and they're doing like anatomy study after anatomy study and perspective studies and all that shit, right? They're doing all that, and they're getting better so fast, but they're fucking miserable. And it's like I'm worried that if they keep going, they're gonna lose the love for art, you know? Like, what if they just like at a certain point they're just like, I'm burnt out, I'm done, this is not fun, and then they just stop, you know? Like, you gotta take breaks and just fucking just love it for a bit, like enjoy it, just draw what you want, and then occasionally, if you feel like it, you're like, okay, I can put a study in here, you know, give myself a little study, and then go back to drawing something fun. But yeah, and then the other part of that is like, do I consider it a job or a hobby? It's both at the moment. So my income, I don't have a job outside of this. This is my job. So the YouTube and the streams and stuff like that and the Patreon is where I get all of my income. And I am fortunate enough to be living in Thailand, which means that that money translates to enough of a wage that I can actually live like comfortably. Like I'm fine. You know, I'm not like scrounging for scraps or anything. I'm scooting by, right? Which I'm incredibly happy for. If I were in any other country, like in America or something, this wouldn't be enough money at all. Like I wouldn't be surviving off of this. Uh, from what I've heard, like the living cost there is disgusting. So I'm happy that I'm here because the amount of money I'm making means that I can comfortably live off of this. And I think it's still a hobby because I don't consider it work. Like I'm still thoroughly enjoying the process, right? I don't think about it being like I'm clocking in and clocking out, you know? Like none of that's going on yet. Maybe in the future it might eventually feel like work, but for now, no, it still feels very fun, and I still draw when I feel like it. I don't ever force myself to draw. So yeah, still super fun. Still hobby, still job, all at the same time. Can a mage rapidly and what can a mage rapidly a physical mage while the physical mage uses the muscles to the point of breaking arms and breaking muscles, but they are fine because they are being rapidly healed for a duo attack? Well, the like I said, healing magic is very precise. Like you actually have to lay somebody down and heal their wounds properly, like a doctor. So you can't like spam heal somebody from the back lines while they're like tearing up their own muscles and punching somebody to death. So sadly, I don't think something like that would work. You'd have to stop fighting, go back and heal your wounds, and then come back out again. Do do any mages practice nofap? Uh, Probably. I mean, with like the meditation shit and stuff like that, maybe that's a part of it. Who knows? Maybe it's like a niche community. I don't think it's it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Only the best. Yeah, that's the secret to the most skilled mages. They just don't they don't fap. Need to break. Yes, overgrowing bones is also a thing you could do. You could definitely just overgrow their bones and stick them in place. Do mages' balls get bigger to store more P? No, I don't think their balls get bigger. Although mana is stored in the balls. Well, on a technicality, because mana is stored in the blood, and obviously there is some blood flow that goes to the balls. So technically, there is mana in the balls, right? So I'd say that's pretty neat. Can you make bone armor like that? You could. Yeah, you could. I was gonna suggest that curses could be self-replicating spells that aren't yet understood, kind of like computer viruses, but coded with man. Oh, here's the thing: you don't want to like ifs exist, right? Like the coding language of the magic world, pretty much. Um, don't write ifs that replicate themselves. Like there is a level of deviation that happens every time you do that that can very quickly go wrong. It can either be the original intent of the if gets contorted, or something a lot worse. Like the efficiency each time gets worse as well. So you can make a magic scroll that casts acceleration magic, for example, right? You can make a so here, for example, there's cannon shells that use acceleration magic to propel a projectile. So that would be a paper scroll, right? Wrapped in a metal casing, with a pin in the back and a vial in the middle, that has a mana infused liquid in it, right? It has a high concentration mana liquid inside. Then it would have salt crystals around that vial, and then it would have the projectile in the front, right? So what happens is you hit the back of this, which breaks the vial, leaking it into the scroll paper and the salt crystal. The salt crystals have an amount of mana stored in them as well, which dissolve into the potion, causing the mana saturation of the liquid inside the vial to reach criticality. So it reaches beyond its saturation point, causing it to flash boil, releasing all the mana into the scroll paper, and the scroll paper casts the acceleration spells, which accelerates the projectile forward. So those scrolls. Oh, thank you for the $2, Fishbola. Are there healing mages for cosmetic surgery? Yes, yes, there are. But yeah, so that scroll paper that has the acceleration spell written onto it, you can either write that by hand, or you can make a printing press that has that spell embossed on the printing wheels, and then print it onto pieces of paper to produce a bunch of them in a really quick succession. Now, because it was written on the wheel and then printed onto paper a second time, basically being a second generation of that written intent, it becomes less efficient. So writing a scroll by hand makes a stronger scroll. Printing it makes it less strong, but obviously it's a lot faster. Now, if you make a if that replicates itself, that and that replication replicates itself again, and that goes all over and over again, that can get really bad really quickly. It's like a game of like imagine a game of telephone with magical runes that keep misunderstanding themselves little by little over each generation. What that can cause, like what can happen to that. I was imagining there. I had this concept of a infinitely expanding city where the original intent of the creator was they created a structure that was supposed to build itself, right? Because the war caused shortages of housing, right? There were a bunch of people misplaced by the war, and they had to build structures to house these people. So somebody came up with the bright idea of making a structure that built itself through magical ifs, and it just needed to be fueled by magic. So it created its own inputs and its own self-replicating room. So it would just make a simple layout of squares next to each other that can then be further decorated uh, to be turned into housing. And that shit got out of hand. The tumor town, yeah, that shit got out of hand and basically started consuming everything in its sight. And it replicated, like, it didn't start just replicating itself, it started replicating other things that it consumed. So inside that building, like that massive buildings, there started to be furniture and food on tables and imitations of creatures that it consumed as well, that it like tried to mimic in weird ways. So it was going to be to the point where it became its own environment, where it's a giant growing city that had like fake grass that was made out of paper. So it would be like a city underneath, but the top of the rooftops would be like a meadow basically. So there would be grass that's made out of paper with like written like gibberish on it. The trees would be lampposts that are made out of metal, but they sort of split off like fractal shapes into trees, but they're all like decorated like lampposts, and there'd be creatures roaming these cities, which would be like elk and deer and rabbits, but they're all made out of like hard materials. They're made out of metals and woods and like fabrics and shit. So it's like a mix of all this shit. Yeah. So I was thinking about that, but the thing is, I don't know where to fit that into the world. I was thinking about it, and I don't know where to fit it, sadly. So I didn't really like put it in to the world. So it's not like a place in the world, really. There is something close to it, but not to that extent yet. Are also in perpetual agony. Yeah, yeah, probably. But yeah, the thing. Oh, and the coolest reveal that I was gonna have about it was that, um, like the city is constantly consuming things around it to grow itself bigger. And if you zoomed out like way up into the sky and look down onto the city itself, the whole city is basically the shape of a giant fractal, because it itself is its own input, right? So that's how it takes in mana. The structure of the city itself is built to attract more mana to its location, which means it would be incredibly hard to actually stop it from growing. You'd basically have to destroy all of it or its shape somehow to like what to stop it from attracting mana. You should draw a deer made of chair. I did. I did draw a deer made of chair. I think I deleted it, but I did a concept of a creature that would be in this location. I thought of this a while ago, so the drawing wasn't really good. I don't think I like it that much, but I can show you, if I can find it. I don't know where the hell I put it. Um, yeah, because I think I thought of this right before the world building project actually blew up, so it sort of I threw it off to the side when Monster Garden became like a bigger thing. Nope, hold on, I think I have it on Twitter. I'll just look it up there and send it. It's just though way down. Because at the time I was thinking about doing adoptables. Because I did a bunch of commissions, but I was thinking I really want to draw more of like my own concepts, but still somehow make money with them. So I was thinking about doing adoptables instead, so I can just draw whatever I want and then sell those concepts on their own. And I was doing a bunch of research about what were the best places to like sell adoptables and stuff. Like where can I sell them? What Discord servers? Where on DeviantArt or whatever. But yeah, oh here it is. There. Oh, where is it? There. This is what I thought of. It's a lot more plain than I was imagining. I wasn't that good at. I mean, I'm still not that good uh uh at like detail and stuff. But this is sort of what I was thinking creatures would look like. Now that like the world's aesthetic developed to be a lot more grungy and like grimdark. I sort of think it'd be a lot more gritty than this. Like this is very clean, uh, but I do still like it. Though I don't quite like the face. I never figured out what the hell I wanted to do with the face. So it sort of looks, I don't know. Maybe it fits. I think it kind of fits, probably. Yeah, I played around with the face a bunch and never really found something. So it has like this weird, I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to be. ที่รักเป็นไรวันนี้เอ๊ะจะเป็นจะเอาอะไรจากข้างนอกไหมหรือว่าอะไรเอ๊ะก่อกวนเฉยๆโอ้ยเอาไอติมไหมมันยังมีในตู้เย็นอยู่เปล่า Comes in with a built-in saddle. Yeah, I was gonna sell that as an adoptable, but then I never got to it. The channel blew up first. That's so I was like, oh, never mind. Fuck adoptables. All that research just sort of went down the drain immediately. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna do this one as an adoptable too. I think I did the fur really nicely on this, by the way, like just very elegant and stuff. I was thinking of doing creature adoptables because that felt like something I'd fit in, like I'd be better at doing. So there, look, I'd say the line works pretty good on this. It was supposed to be uh, like a snail goat, you know? So it had like the eye stalks being the horns. It sort of looks the same as the furniture horse because I didn't know how to do the face, so I sort of just modeled it after this one I did before. But yeah, it has the like poof on the back that's like a curl, like a snail. And I like my favorite part of the design was that it has bangs. I think that's probably my favorite part. It's just the thing has bangs, which just fits so perfectly with its attitude, you know? The snort, the snort. I love the snail goat. Yeah, I think it's a very nice design. I never finished it, uh, because oh, that's what it was. So I drew this first when I was thinking about adoptables, and then I had a crisis about the design, being like, it's too boring. There's nothing going on with it. You know, it's just a goat snail. Which obviously I was just convincing myself it's a cool fucking design. Like now looking back at it, yeah, I should have totally gone with this. But I convinced myself that it wasn't good enough. So I started brainstorming how I could make it more interesting. And so I came up with the whole idea of the replicating city just so I can have an excuse of having furniture animals. Because I was thinking with adoptables, what I realized is a lot of people have their own like species that they're proficient in, like that's their thing, that's the species that they sell, and they draw more and more of that species and keep selling those as adoptables, and they become popular because it's a series. There's more of them. They keep making more of them. So what my idea was I was going to make adoptables of the creatures in that furniture city, so I can just keep making more of them with like different creature plus different furniture, and just make more and more of those designs. But I again never got to it. Does it retract? No, sadly, I mean, it wouldn't make sense if it retracted. It can't really. Uh, it's just like a visual thing. Like it just has a big coil of fur on its back. It wouldn't be able to retract actually. But yeah, anyway, back to this. In a complete, platonic, non-weird way, you were adorable, Simon. Your your enjoyment of your own concepts is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's probably about time I start drawing out the concept in my head. Yeah, I mean, just start. Do rough sketches, I guess. That's probably the best idea. Yeah, we have to do a breakdown of the lengthening muscles as well, or lengthening bones as well. Bone. So true. What? Yeah. I wouldn't call it adorable. I mean, I am just very enthusiastic about my own. Like, I'm having fun with it. That's the whole point of why I do it, you know? So I still am sort of trying to find a way to like express the enjoyment of actually doing it through the videos as well, because in a lot of the videos I do talk about the struggles of trying to figure out concepts and like, oh, this and that, I had problems with this and it was hard to think of that, which sort of makes it seem like uh, more negative than it actually is. Narratively, obviously, it's more interesting to talk about the hardships that went into a design, you know? It's interesting to see, oh, it wasn't just all smooth goings. It also was a little hard to figure this thing out. But I'm still trying to find a balance of I really want to somehow show how fun it actually is to design these things for me. Um, but I mean, how do you write that into a video? I can't just like randomly go, and then I thought of this thing, yippee, or something like that. Doesn't make sense. Like, uh, acting out enthusiasm in the aftermath of having fun with it kind of feels weird, you know. Acting out frustration is fun after, like, but for I haven't cracked the code on like how to express that fully yet in videos. Well, the struggle shows your passion. Yeah, it's more akin to a challenge. Like it's not. I'm not suffering. You know, I'm not like my life is falling apart because of this concept. I can't think of what to put in this armor piece. It's more just like, huh, this is tough. This is okay. Let's see what I can get out of this. You know, like a challenge. Yeah, challenge is a lot better of a word. Thank you. Yeah. And I thought of a parasitic vestigial twin relationship. Yippee! Yeah, my enthusiasm contrasted by the grimness of the concepts is definitely a funny. I'd say it's kind of funny because I am like very enthusiastic about the concepts, but the concepts themselves are very horrifying. I mean, this is a guy modified, tortured to turn into a beast that's meant to climb up pillars to their inevitable. Yippee! You know? Yippee! What else was I gonna do? Oh right, the squares. How do you spell squares? How do you spell squares? That's a P. Why the fuck did I spares? Squ- Squares? I think the issue is because I write in all capitals. It looks weird. Hold on. I gotta search up how to write the word squares. Don't correct me, chat. I'm gonna search this up. Square. Yeah, it's just weird because I have a big cute square. There you go. Yeah, it just looks really weird because I use capital letters. For some reason, like randomly, I just decided I wanted to write all capitals. It was because I saw a concept artist who also wrote all capitals. Like in his notes, like when he like drew a concept and you'd see like the little writings next to it. It was like his handwriting was all caps. So like uh like something like this, And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I just copied that. And now the issue is now I can't write normal anymore. Or I can, but it's just it takes a lot of energy to write normal because I'm used to writing all of them as capitals. So if I do like squares, I have to think like, hold on, what does like a lowercase q look like again? Like that, and then square like that, you know? It takes me a lot longer now, which kind of is kind of sad. All that muscle memory gone. Yeah. Do you write cursive? I wish. I wish I wrote cursive. I can't even read cursive. It's hard to read. I wish I wrote cursive. Because the thing is, if I made my own book, I would love to do it with my own handwriting. Like, don't type it out. Don't use a font. Just write the pages myself. That'd be the dream. But the thing is, my handwriting's shit. I mean, I went to full capital letters because normally my handwriting was ass. I never practiced it, so it just looked like a child's handwriting. Like it's so bad that like when I sign something, I sign it with like I this is Simon. That's what I used to do. Like just full capital letters my name like a fucking toddler with a crayon. It was awful. Like I am gonna change it to this. Um uh this like the Monster Garden logo. I want it to be that. Uh but yeah, I used to do like Simon, big capital letters. It's just sad. I can't write cursive. But I'd love to. Like I had a I did practice it for like a few days. All of a sudden, I was like, I want to be have better handwriting. So I looked up a bunch of references for like cursive handwriting, but not like full cursive because full cursive is a little hard to read. So I sort of went with like an in between. There was one that I found that was like it was cursive, all the letters were connected, but they weren't like too extreme that it was like really hard to read it. And I like practiced that for a few days, and then it just fell off. I don't know what happened. I might go back to it just for the sake of the book because I really want to make the book like handwritten. If I can, that'd be awesome. It'd take a long time. I mean, it'd make the book take even longer, but it might be worth it. And then, I mean, just having good handwriting, I think, would be a nice skill to just have in my back pocket. Big fan, bro. I love your artistic direction and illustration style, and dark, gritty fantasy, and interesting. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, tag on. Tag on? Okay, tag on. Every time I hear the term war dancer, I imagine what something like the Asian lion dancer would be in the world's grim setting. I can imagine some awesome body mods and maybe cables connecting the two. Oh, okay. I was pissed when I saw the Elden Ring DLC. I think maybe some artists or like concept artists can relate. Every time like a FromSoft game comes out or like a game with really good concepts comes out, I get pissed because every time I look at I mean, obviously I'm in awe as well, but another emotion I have is getting pissed because I saw the trailer and I saw that fucking lion dancer boss and I was like, fuck, that's awesome. That is such a good concept. Why the fuck didn't I come up with that? Like, god damn it. That's so good. But now I can never do that. because they did it and they did it better. Because I can't do that. Because now if I do that, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, that's like the line dancer from Elden Ring," and it's like, "Fuck you! Of course it is. I wish I came up with that first." Like, yeah, and the giant wicker men with the flames and shit. I'm like, God, that's awesome. Like all of them just make me seethe because it's like I can't turn back time and just come up with that, like steal that shit and come up with it myself. I'll have to wait like a few decades until people forget that. But it's a FromSoft game. How the fuck are they gonna forget it? Like I'll never be able to use that. But like the thing is, if they never came out with that, it's not like I would have come up with that on my own. The realization only came about because they did it. Like if I was left to my own devices for the rest of eternity, I bet you I'd never come up with a design that cool or like that kind of specific. Oh, let's do a lion dancer who has two guys just holding each other on the hip, be a boss that casts like storm spells and shit. I'd never come up with that. But I'd like to imagine that I would have, you know? If you left me if you gave me just another month before that trailer came out, I would have come up with it on my own suddenly out of nowhere just because, you know? Playing ED right now. I hope you enjoy. Especially all the ideas from Elden Ring too. Yeah. Hearing this makes me glad I get inspired from very uh niche and odd places like old horror movies. Yeah. I mean it's yeah, getting best thing is always like getting inspiration from things you like, you know. My whole world is excuses for me to draw what I like, pretty much. I mean, it's filled with shit that I just that are just my interests, and I built the world as an excuse to draw things related to those interests. The Pillarmen, they're climbing pillars. Why are they climbing pillars? It's because I like rock climbing. I like watching rock climbers. I follow rock climbing YouTubers. That's it. So I just wanted an excuse to have something related to rock climbing in the world so I can draw people that climb rocks. That's it. Like, why are war dancers or why is Varus's style in the style of Thai art? It's because I like the way it looks. That's why. So I just gave myself an excuse to draw it. Why are the war dancers dressed up like giants from Thai mythology? It's because I find them cool. So I dress them up like that. Do Pillarmen use chalk? Yes, yes. Oh, I guess you weren't in the last stream then. We figured out something really fun with the climbing chalk of the Pillarmen. The Pillarmen's climbing chalk is the dried ashes of previous Pillarmen. That's a bit of lore we thought up in the last stream. So the chalk that they use is processed uh like ashes of previous Pillarmen, which is awesome. I mean, that's so poetic. Like last stream we said it. Oh, so poetic because even in their death, they are assisting the future generations of Pillarmen in their attempt to ascend to the heavens. You know, it's just poetic. Yeah, finally, Grandma. No, no, Grandma. If I was to become a Pillarman, should I lengthen my fingers as well? I mean, uh, I don't think. Okay, long fingers aren't actually that good for climbing, are they? Well, no, no, they. It depends. It depends. For like larger holds, if it's like larger, big jugs and stuff, big hands are good. But if you're thinking about crimps, uh, basic using like only the tips of your fingers, mechanically, I think having shorter fingers would be good for that, right? Because it means there's a less of a lever arm to where the weight is pulling down. So it's less taxing on your tendons, right? If you have really long fingers, that's further away from where the weight is, so it'd be harder, right? I don't think it's probably not that big of a deal because you can also do crimps like this. Like you can just fully fucking go like this, which is painful as shit. But rock climbers are built different for some reason. Um, so I guess having really long fingers, you can still do that, which means the lever arm isn't that far. So I'd say having big fingers or long fingers is fine, but having meaty fingers is really good. So aim for having meaty fingers. I mean you don't have a choice really, but meaty fingers, like some solid like square Minecraft block fucking fingers, just so you can get like a lot of surface area on each of them. Those are good for jams as well. Like I don't know if they're called jams. That's just what I thought of, or the word I thought of for describing what it is. Like the move where if there's like a crack in the rock like this, and you just basically just shove your fist into the hole because there's nothing to hold on to properly. So you just shove your fist, and then you just squeeze your hand so it gets stuck in the crack, right? And then you can like do that with like open palms as well if the crack's like thinner. Uh, fist the crack, yeah, fist the crack. So like meaty hands, I guess, would be good for that. Crack climbing, climbing on crack. Let's go. Are you crack climbing or are you climbing on crack? They call it jams, yeah. God, I love rock climbing. I wish they had a rock climbing gym in my area. Also, sorry I'm not drawing much. I'm literally just doodling over the same parts over, just erasing and redrawing for some reason. I'm not getting anywhere. Uh, but yeah, I wish there was a rock climbing gym around. I'd love to like actually go like climb rocks. I love rocks. My IQ is very quickly lowering right now. Oh, just rocks, good. Rocks are good. I like big, shiny rocks. There you go. What's the drug situation in Varus? Kind of bad. I mean, in both sides of the war. All in Rom as well. Like drugs is quite a prevalent. Drug use is quite a prevalent thing in Varus and Rom. Um, tar is the worst one probably because tar is made from like the tar builds up in mage's veins after casting spells. Tar building up too much in the veins can cause somebody to just have clogged veins and die. But that same tar can be extracted from mages. It can be scraped out of the veins, and through a lot of processes, it can be refined into a drug that is also called tar. That drug, refined tar, let's just call it refined tar to differentiate it from the thing that builds up in your body. Um, Refined tar is very highly addictive, as all drugs are, and it helps it. If a mage takes refined tar, they basically nullify the side effects of mana sickness. Mana sickness happens when the amount of mana in your body exceeds a certain limit. Like the higher the concentration of mana in your body, you start feeling side effects. You get sickness, nausea, headaches, heart palpitation, like bad things happen, right? And mages spend a long time, lots of years of their study, conditioning themselves to get used to this, to higher levels of mana saturation in their bodies so they can hold more mana at any given time, right? So those symptoms are less strong in them, and they just get better at holding mana, which obviously means they have a higher capacity for mana. They can cast more spells or cast more powerful spells. Um, but taking tar, taking refined tar, makes it so you don't feel that. So you just go numb to that thing. It also helps you focus on spell casting. So in general, it just helps you with casting spells, which is good but also dangerous because if you don't know how much mana is inside you, you don't know when you're getting to the limit. And the limit means you die. You combust, basically, because anything that reaches the max saturation of mana, basically, like, the blood flash boils, releasing all the mana, and you just turn into a fine mist. Um, so that's all fun and good, right? The issue is if you take it too often, you can become dependent on it. So you become jittery and have a lack of focus without taking tar. So you have to take tar to be able to cast spells in the first place. And the other bad part is the drug tar, is not also, or it's not just prevalent amongst mages. It also became prevalent amongst normal people who took tar because it's addictive, but it doesn't have any effect on normal people. It's not good. It's even worse if normal people take it because you don't get any of the benefits, and your body can't filter tar the same way that mages do. The mages have grown a tar eye, which helps filter tar out of their blood. So tar, like when they take the drug, it's not that it's fine. But with people, they don't got a tar eye, so it's just building up in their veins until they just fucking die. So it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah. And also when somebody gets like really addicted to tar, it starts like leaking out of their like tear ducts and like their nose and stuff. And their teeth are also like stained black. I got that like the idea of they rub it into their gums. By the way, that's how you take it. You like rub it in your teeth. Their teeth stain black because I got that idea from a type of drug or like addictive substance that Thai people used to take. Yap, uh, yippee, yippee. Uh, what was I gonna say? Right. There's this thing in Thai where that's called mak. I think it's probably in multiple cultures, but it's a type of leaf mixed with a type of chalk or some sort of thing that you chew. It's like it's kind of like chewing tobacco. I don't know if it is actually chewing tobacco, if it's the same thing, because I only know the Thai name of it. But old Thai people, like people's grandmas and stuff like that, that generation did it a lot. Betel nuts, yes, betel nuts. That's what it is. They did a lot. So you'd often see people's grandmas chewing it, and they basically chewed it, and it releases addictive chemicals. But a side effect of chewing it a lot would be that it stains your teeth black. And back in the day, like back in ancient times in Thailand, when the drug was like even more prevalent, everybody took it like all the time. They would just chew it. Having black teeth was actually a sign of beauty. Like if you are looking for a wife, or like women that had like stained black teeth were considered attractive. Like that was a beauty thing, you know? Which is kind of interesting. Red, actually. Well, yeah, they're stained like sort of dark reddish. Like when they spit it out, it sort of looks like they're just spitting blood out. It's not like pure black. It's red, but with the tar thing, I wanted it to be black. How bizarre. Yeah, it's very interesting. Oh yes, the druggies. Wasn't that a thing in Japan as well? Yeah, I don't know what other cultures had that as well. I know that other cultures have it too, but I'm not sure which. But yeah, the betel nut thing was definitely a thing of multiple cultures, or a thing in multiple cultures. Okay, what am I gonna do? Right. I was also gonna. Why did I just give him a mega mind forehead? Jesus Christ, he got some ideas. Shit. Okay, let's tone that down a little bit. Goodness, sorry about that. But yeah, I was gonna draw some decorative elements to his the Pillarmen have like decorative clothing as well, and I'd want to like show a bit of that just to help show that it's supposed to be a Pillarman. And I also got this fun idea that instead of having a mask on, they have a fake head that they have like strapped uh onto the top of their head, and their actual head is covered with like a cloth like this. So this is like the decorative head with like the nice beautiful mask and stuff. And this because like the Pillarman's tall nature is supposed to represent them being closer to heaven, because everything tall is like closer to heaven. So they make that even taller, or by illusion, make it look even taller by stacking heads. So they look like they have a really long neck, but it's actually just a second head. Like that one Dark Souls boss? You mean like uh, uh, uh Smough? Ornstein and Smo. Yeah, Smo. Uh, he has that, right? Because he has the eye holes are in his neck, and then the decorative head up above, and then you got the big titties with the eyes carved into them. Those aren't a part of the conversation, but still, just wanted to mention the big titties. Uh, but yeah, he got the eye holes in the neck. I didn't realize that for years. Oh yeah, me too. I okay. So thing is, I want to show their decorations, but I don't want to cover up too much of them. So I think the plan is going to be that I do like a half situation where it's like cut here. So I show half decorations and then a cutaway of what it looks like underneath. So we don't just get like the anatomy, but we also show like how their costume works with like the strapped on fake head and stuff, which I think is fun. If this is going to be turned into a poster, I think the shape of it's going to be quite wide actually. It's going to be more like a square, like this kind of, which I think is fine. We'll have to see how it can fit in like writing and stuff. It's like what are the things I want to write on it anyway? So there's the anchors, right? So uh anchors, so I need a section for anchors. Let's just say I like put that here. Or if I hmm, I'd want to swap these around because this is on the underside of the arm, so it makes sense to be at the bottom, and this makes sense to be at the top because it's closer. So like that. Uh, the muscle growing thing. That would have its own section that can probably be like here, right? And then I can also show the tool itself, which would be nice to separate. I just have that like laying across the top for now. Oh, that's drawn so well. Holy shit. 9 years artist, best artist. Look at that. Beautiful. My goodness. Yeah, there. That's for the growing. Then we put the anchor here. Uh, and we can. I don't know how big or like how much I need to write, so I'll just give like quite big boxes first. That bone lengthening is probably not that much, so I can like put that here. Probably be a lot smaller as well. All of these images should also be quite a bit smaller because the main focus should be the big guy. So, oops. Yeah, more like that big. probably. Yeah, this one I think should be quite a bit of a focus because it's a very interesting element, having like a weird like monk statue in the back that has organs in it. I think so. That's definitely gonna require like a bigger section. And then the top left should be left for describing the like general. These are pillarmen. Like the pillarmen are modified individuals designed to climb the blah 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 blah. Right. So that's the introduction, and then we break down each of that. So that's always on the top left. Okay, and then the square musculature thing can be. Hold on, I can move this down. So it's that. Oh, and then I can also do like a sort of faint drawing of a back view of the pillarmen, which can give me more of an excuse to also draw like the decorations fully without hiding them. So back view of the with the figure like strapped to the back so we can see where it actually is. Right, like that, the cable. And them climbing. Oh yeah, I can do it with an image of them climbing the pillars as well, so we can get like more context to them actually climbing the pillars. Don't need the full image though, just like that is enough. Then yeah, this stuff with the squares, I definitely want that. I mean, having things close to the body like that is kind of like all of it next to him seems kind of cluttered. I'd want to like have things out as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then also the thumb shit. All right, let's move the leg thing down even more. The additional thumb, just a little. And fuck the feet. The feet. I can't. How dare I forget about the feet? It's like everybody's favorite part, isn't it? Yeah. The hooves. Hooves? What? Hoove? Exclamation point? Question mark? And then somebody going like, what? Hoove? Yeah, we need a box to explain that. Are they just broken and bound in a hoof shape? Yeah. They're broken the same way as those like Chinese girls. Then bound into that shape. And then their two first toes are grown into a hoof. So the big toe and the the index toe? Did is their names the same way that we have for fingers for toes? Like we have the thumb, the index, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky. What's with toes? Like would you just have big toe and then what? Second toe, third toe, fourth toe, index toe, I guess. The index toe and the thumb toe get get turned into the two halves of the hoof. The Pillarman pole dancer is what Wudang truly fears. Oh, is this live? Yeah, yeah, it is. It is live, yes. It's a live stream. Oop. Oop. Okay, I think we're starting to slowly figure out the layout of the page, though. Right, and then the hand. The hand can go. That is getting really cluttered. I mean, cluttered is good, but also, you know, it has to be cluttered, like, intentionally cluttered, not messy, too messy. And the hand pointing, oh, bing, thumb, thumb, exclamation point, question mark. What? Extra thumb? What? And then explaining it. Like, yeah, he has an extra thumb. Deal with it. Uh, I mean, do you have to explain extra thumb? Are you okay, Simon? Yeah, I'm very okay. Why don't they just send goats that can climb anything? I mean, yeah, they can climb anything to an extent, but giant pillars where you need hands to climb as well probably is there's their limit. But yeah, I am very okay. This is just how I am. Sorry. Do you sometimes get the feeling that you want to scrap most of what you have and redo it? That feeling is very annoying me and my own world building as of late. Yes, and I did that as well once, twice. I did that twice with this project. It's not like I don't do it. I feel it, and then I do it as well. I although it has happened again a few times, but I have prevented myself from doing it again because I think it is in a good place. I just have doubts. Uh, it was first a world building project based around monsters. So I had a continent that had interesting locations that I could put monsters into. Then I added people, and then the war started becoming more of a relevant thing between the people. Like we had people that interacted with the monsters, and then we had a war between the people just to add a little spice. And then that became the main focus of the world, so I just scrapped all the monster shit. So all the monster shit was just thrown out. Never mind, fuck that. And then the war, like I started making countries and relations and different factions, and then the war just sort of became bigger, and the war became the main focus. Like I still tried to keep the monsters in or some of them in, but over time the war just enveloped the whole world, or the whole project, and so I threw that out as well and just focused mainly on just the world. So I threw it out twice, and then I just focused on the war, and that's where we are now with Ram and Varus, and the war, and all that. Can the Pillarmen progenitate? Progenitate? The hell is progenitate? I thought they had bone nail grow over the lotus feet to look like hooves. Well, yeah, they do. Like their fingernail or their toenails are grown into hooves. I just haven't drawn it properly because it's really tiny and it's a rough sketch. But yeah, they do. They do. But yeah, what else do we add to the page? I mean, that's pretty much it, right? It's quite a bit of a mess, but I'd say it's good. It's a good mess. So I think a good thing we can do after this. I think the stream's gonna end soon, by the way, because it's after midnight. It's past midnight. But we'll basically just be solidifying these elements more, like uh, making sure this is the angle and look we want for each of the things, and then coloring them in just like a dark gray or something, and zooming out really far to sort of see the balance of the whole canvas, right? I feel like that's quite important that the image feels balanced. So if I make everything dark to show like their whole volume, it helps me sort of visualize if the canvas feels a little heavy to one side, there's too many images on one side, need some on the other, stuff like that, you know? So that's what we'll probably do next. But I think for now, that's going to be the end of the stream because it's past midnight. So I'd rather not go too far past midnight. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. I mean, we didn't get much done. 2 hours for a rough sketch. It's not a lot, but I hope you enjoyed it either way. But yeah, can we make the pillars self-replicating? No, it's not that easy. You do have to have like a object you made uh fully be intended for that purpose. I don't think you could like write the ifs to replicate something onto a random object and have that object replicate itself just like that. You know, it'd be pretty complicated. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for joining me, as always, and see you in the next one or video. Take care, take care.